everyone. Well, I decided I wanted to show you a day in my life working in real estate. Got all my morning stuff done with the family, and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna check out about 3 or 4 things that I have getting ready with renovators that are, the new projects they're working on. First place we're going to Caldwell. I have a brand new construction going on there. It's a big sort of 5, hopefully 6-bedroom colonial that should be coming on very shortly. And then we're going to talk about the second property and the third property that I'm going to have a little peek at. These are rental units, fourplex in Montclair, and then I have a fourplex in Port Reading. So that's what I'm doing today. All right, see you soon. All right, here we are. We are in Caldwell, New Jersey, and I'll be looking at one of my new renovations that's coming on. By the looks of it, I think we're about 70% done. Let me show you the property first, and then come back here, and I'll tell you what we talked about with the renovators. All right, guys, check out this property. Yeah, it's about where I thought it was going to be, about 75% done. And sort of what I do now, so our discussion is this, when I meet with my renovators or investors, is I go in through this now and I go, this is all I need done right now to get this listed. Everything visual. So when you look through the property, get those kitchen, cabinets in there, get that kitchen done, get that second coat of paint on, make sure all the little plug-in covers are on, everything that you see. So we went through a checklist and I went, okay, you got a decent amount to do, but this is all I need done to list it. Because once we list it and we find a buyer, there's about 30 to 45 days if you're lucky. And in that time, you'll be able to do all the unseen stuff, all the hookups, all the electrical little things and all of that. And so we just went through the checklist, decided what needed to be done, and it looks like we're about 2 weeks out. So fingers crossed we get this on in 2 weeks, and this house is gonna do really well. It's a wonderful gem. I also want to take a second, I want to talk about how we got this house. Because the real problem right now in renovation and in investing is finding the houses, because all the low end of the market is going for so much over asking price that it doesn't make sense for renovators to pay that price to get them to renovate it, because the top end is still sort of staying the same. So that sort of profit margin is not really there. This house I was able to get because we saw this about 6 or 7 months ago. We saw this during a holiday, and forgive me, I'm terrible with this. I can't remember what holiday it was, but during the holiday, I think it was Christmas actually, but during the holidays when no one's around, that's the best time to look for properties because there's no competition. 90% of the whole buyer force is out. They're celebrating, and Scrooge McDuck here, I take my clients out, we find this house, we get our offer in when nobody's looking, and we get under contract before they come back. So we were able to get this house, I believe, at a really good price because no one for that week was looking. And that's how we got this house. Next property, I am going to Montclair. This is early in the stages. This is, they just finished the demo. So I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna check it out. I wanna just see the square footage. I wanna see the bones of the property. It just gives me a better idea of what we're gonna rent it for. I wanna see the ceiling height. I just wanna see what they're going to do with it. And a lot of times, once the demolition is done, I can figure that out. And it just gives me a good idea to go, okay, I think this is what we're gonna get for rent in this area. So that's where we're going next. So stick around. All right, so I lied. We're not going to Montclair just yet. One of my favorite things about being a real estate agent, I work in about 4 counties. Sometimes I'll go as far as the shore. I'll do Morris, Essex, Union, Passaic. And again, I'll go a little further out if the deal is right. I have an addiction to coffee shops. And everywhere we have a house, I'll always find a local run coffee shop. And they're always so good. They're so good. I love it. This is my favorite thing about this job is I have an excuse to go and check out some of the best coffee shops in all of New Jersey because it's on my way to my work. I can go and get a coffee. And I love this place. I discovered this Caldwell, the listing we were just at. And I've come here several times. I'm not going to lie. And I'm going to miss it once I sell the house, but I'll find another one. All right, now we're off to Montclair. See you there. Yeah, as you can see, the demo was done. And let me tell you, these are going to be amazing. The upstairs units, unit 3 and 4, those are going to be 3-bedroom luxury units. They're going to have laundry. He did ask my opinion on a couple things, and I did suggest that the bottom units are going to be more like 1,800 square foot because we can absorb the basement into the ground floor unit. And I said it would be, you know, if we wanted to tip into the luxury rental market, we want a small ensuite in one of those rooms. So we sort of found the space to put those units, and then we wanted to talk about where the stairway went into the basement portion of the ground floor units. These are going to be glorious, and just being able to walk through it when it's stripped down to the bones, you really get to see the potential. And also you get to add your input because I know what the rental market wants, especially the luxury rental market. So you want a place, they have to have laundry facilities. You got to find a place for that. You're going to want en suites, at least in the bigger units, because you want to compete with those larger rental numbers. But this is great. I think we're a month or 2 months down the road. This is a full company of about 20-25 people, so they're able to do this stuff real quick. And it's so exciting to see it in this state because, boy, when you see it done, you're like, wow. One other thing I wanted to talk about. The Montclair properties, how I got those, because I think it's very interesting, because again, that's the tricky part of working with renovators and investors is finding them properties. There's so many different ways to find them, but how I found this one this was under contract for a year, this property, and I think it was an estate. And when you see something that's in attorney review for so long or under contract for so long, sometimes there's some problems, sometimes there's something going on, and sometimes I like to, call and just see. But I saw this one came quickly back on again. And a lot of times people sort of forget about the properties when they've been on for a long time or they think there's problems or whatever. So I quickly reached out to the listing agent, and it was sort of locked in a sort of a problematic offer, and both sides were not really communicating well. And estates are not always easy because, again, sometimes the communication is different. And so when I reached out to them, I just merely said, what was the problems? And the problems was it was an estate, and they wanted a certain number, and they didn't want somebody changing that number throughout the transaction. So I just sort of let the listing agent know. I sent him our offer because it was back active again, and I just sort of said, our offer isn't changing, and we're going to work with you, and we're going to do our best. The owners of the property are looked after. We're not here to play any games. So it was basically just ingratiating ourselves to them, and that's sort of how we got the deal. Because again, I think there was 2 or 3 other offers at the time that came in real quick. But I think the simple fact that I reached out to the listing agent and I wasn't sort of hard selling her and trying to, negotiate the price or whatever. I was pretty much like, what did you get? What do you want? Let's see if we can help you. Let's see what we can do. And all the numbers and what they wanted sort of worked out with what my client, the purchaser, wanted. So, it was just more letting the listing agent and the sellers know this is our offer and we're not going to play any games. And that's how we got this one. I think we were the second best or even third best on this one, possibly. I can't remember, but they just liked us. And they trusted us. And so that's why they went with us. And that's how we got this offer, is because, I tried to endear myself to the listing agent and the sellers, and it worked, and we have these wonderful properties. So I think that's very interesting in this market to talk about how you get these properties. Yesterday, I went to my other luxury rental units. in Port Reading. These are beautiful. And they're very similar to this. They're four, but they're four, it's 2 buildings, duplexes, 1 unit, 1 unit, 1 unit, 1 unit. And like this one, I let my renovator know, we only need 1 unit done. Only 1 unit needs to be done. And then I can rent all 4, because then that 1 unit is a show home for the rest of the units, because they're all going to be pretty much exactly alike. Then the other units may take another month. They may take another 2 months, but you can secure your renters before you're even done. So here's the Port Reading properties. I had a little walk through those. So this is my day. We're at 1 o'clock, been on the road for a while. These properties are not close together. I have to meet with another investor about something she wants to buy, but then I got to go back and write 6 offers to 6 multi-units in Patterson for an investor who wants to start investing in the units rental properties. And so that's sort of my day so far. I wanted to give you a little snapshot. I know you've been seeing videos of me at my desk talking about real estate, and I wanted to give you a little snapshot into what I do throughout the day. I do have listings coming on. I have 2 of them. They're both under contract, but my next video is maybe when I'm sort of getting an open house ready, or when I'm getting a house ready to stage. I think the next video I'll do is with Caldwell, because we're almost done with that, and I'll show you what we need to do to get it staged and ready to sell. All right, guys, like, subscribe, comments, and if you have any concerns or worries or anything you want to get off your chest about real estate, contact me. I love talking about this business. All right, see you guys later.